Good afternoon from Bali, everyone. It's Hanifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, I wanted to talk about something so wonderful that happened yesterday, which, of course, as things do, is in alignment with the current learning and practice that I'm doing here in Bali. Personal practice, myself. And as we work on ourselves, then the world around us is shaped too, as you know that I talk about in these videos a fair amount. This video series is, of course, about transmutation or alchemy, and we can only get to that space of that opportunity for alchemizing our own lives or the lives of people around us, closest people, and then farther people, and then the world, when we are from a pure space. Now, how to be in a pure space is one of the recommendations from Sanskrit teachings, at least. Sanskrit meaning Vedic. It's literally, there's a number of practices that do this, and I find this word in Sanskrit that I really like is really useful for us to contemplate whether we're applying these things to our lives. This word is called Vairagya. I'm going to read to you. It says, Vairagya is a Sanskrit term meaning dispassion, detachment, or renunciation, particularly from the pleasures and pains of the material world. It's a key concept in various Eastern spiritual traditions like Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, representing a state of non-attachment crucial for spiritual progress and liberation. Now, spiritual progress and liberation, we know this happens for everyone. Even if we think about the spirit being in our work, are we putting our heart, soul into it? So heart, soul, I would think of as spirit, our enthusiasm, the biggest energy in us, which, again, this is the energy that helps everything flow in our lives, in the lives of the world around us. So every single being, a plant, mineral, animal, human, has this Vairagya, or this energy. I shouldn't say Vairagya, I should say actually this consciousness. Consciousness is that constant within all of us. And if we're looking at these terms, we can see that most religions actually do talk about this when you go deep enough and not read it just from superficial levels. When we go deep enough, we understand this idea of dispassion, as in not being too attached. It's I'm okay with whatever happens because I'm putting my best into it. I'm putting the best thought, words, and actions is what this series is about. It's what about my life is about at this point, I guess. And I've definitely been trying to encourage that all of us think about these things because it all matters. Now, this was a quotation I thought really matched my experience yesterday, so I'll read this quotation first. This is by Ram Dass, and it says, a feeling of aversion or attachment towards something is your clue that there's work to be done. A feeling of aversion or attachment towards something is your clue that there's work to be done. Now, how would this happen yesterday? I went to my favorite market here in Ubud. There's two favorite markets, and I went to one of them yesterday. Needed a few things for an upcoming trip, and I wanted to go to this market because it's, again, relatively close and really nice to go to. And I can tell you that both markets, I get this experience of some people, most people now, are so friendly and so polite and so kind, and so often I get this word shantik, which means beautiful, and it's such a beautiful feeling to hear that word from so many people as they say hello. At the same time, this has been on my mind for some time, and when I think of Vairagya, this non-attachment, this mind in reflection has been reflecting about this for days, because in this work, we understand we are not our bodies, we are not our minds, we're not our thoughts, our words, we're not them, but we speak them, and we might be represented by them in a time. So this body and mind, not body, not mind, this idea people have heard of a lot, so whether in yogic traditions or whether in spiritual traditions such as these, which talk about this, and like I said, I think most spiritual traditions, religious traditions actually do the same if we go deep enough to understand. So I'm not this body because I know that this body is changing. I'm not the same body that I was at 5, and I'm not the same body now. And I won't be the same body even 5 years from now. I'm probably not the same body tomorrow. Now, the cells that are changing in my body, I might not see them tomorrow. So I feel this illusion of this is all the same. I'm the same as I've always been, but I'm not. My body is changing, so I am not that body. But I, as the energy coming through this body, is the same, always the same, everlasting and eternal. So this is that divine energy. Now, this feeling of aversion or attachment, this came to me yesterday when I got this same wonderful greeting from Lots, and I can tell you that yesterday morning, I also got the same word here at this homestay, which again is such a nice way to enter the kitchen and have that lovely word said to me, Shantik, and it feels lovely, really. It's very lifting for this ego. So the ego hears this and feels, oh, I feel really good about how I put myself together. I feel really good about how I look today. And it's ego that is what is holding back spiritual energy. So holding back means it clouds that spiritual energy. So suddenly I start thinking, I am this body. I am how my hair is today. I am what clothes I'm wearing today. I am this pretty all the time. No, I am not. I know that. And you know that about yourself. And so as this happened yesterday when the person here said it to me, I said, beauty, in what way? Beautiful is very nice, and thank you. I thanked her, and I said, in what way? And she said, no, outside and in. Because I said, the outside changes, you know that. And she said, no, outside and in. And I said, how would you know? Now, you would think this is a person, these are people here in this homestay that have seen me for so long that really do know quite a bit about me. But I can't say we've had super deep conversations. And this is just because whoever is ready to meet another at a particular vibration, we meet. And so when she said this, I knew that there was nothing more that needed to be said. She was truthful in that feeling, or that compliment was so much deeper than that superficial of looking nice. It's inside and out. And maybe there is something about inside that this person understands, or others here understand. It's not expressed, and I do like expression. I do like communication. I believe that as we communicate these things more deeply to understand what we appreciate about each other, we build those things in each other. So I went to the market, and the same thing happened, and this lady came running to me, and she often runs to me and said, oh, you look beautiful, Shantik, Shantik. And I said, in what way? And she said, she was so surprised that I said that. And she said, oh, no, inside and out. I said, that's funny you say that, because I'm going to come back here when I'm done shopping to sit and chat with you about that if you'll let me. And she said, okay, I'll wait here for you. I'll be here. I said, okay, let me finish, and I come back and talk to you. When I came back, there were 3 people now waiting with her that I decided to sit down, and I started chatting with them. And we had this beautiful discussion. I talked about how our bodies do change, and what does it feel like for an individual. So let's say a child has been told, you're so pretty, a girl, you're so pretty. A little boy could be, you're very handsome, and grows up hearing the same thing. And at some point, I will not hear that so much, and I will notice that difference. And then I will think, because I've attached myself to how this looks, that I've changed, or people don't care about me anymore. And if people care about the external, we don't care about what is eternal and everlasting. But we don't understand how we do this. So I had this great conversation with them talking about this idea. With that came this awareness of what I'm learning very clearly in Bali, and talk about with a lot of people actually in conversation about how when people see me dressed Balinese as I am today, they'll say, you're Balinese, you're Balinese. And so this group too often says that to me, and says, now you're Balinese, now you're one of us. And so I said, what makes me one of you when I dress like you? Because I think of myself as one of you. So I am Canadian, you are Balinese, yet I am the same as you, and you are the same as me. And I don't think of you as better or less than me, and I don't think of myself as better or less than me. And this really stopped them in their tracks for a minute. And it was so interesting, because again, I've had this conversation here, elsewhere. And there are times that you see something when you're sharing something with someone, where you see that light bulb moment almost, that you see it in the other person, This was 3 people, and all 3 people had that expression of understanding. And we talked about different biases and what I've seen here, which again is no different here than in Canada from my experience. And I don't believe it's anything different in the world. So when we want something, we're very nice, and when we don't, we're very dismissive. That includes anyone building, because construction is pretty high here. I know that in Ontario, construction was quite high there too, and so less and less space for people to work with. So people used to buy property that would make big homes and still have lots of grassland around them. Same thing is happening here. There's grass fields. Grass fields are getting smaller. Homes are getting smaller too. So just like in Canada before, big homes and lots of space with the extra grass, now every bit of grass is being filled with a home, and this is happening here too. And when I do it in my region, my country, this is again ego, I'm okay with it. When I need money in my region, I'm okay if someone else builds there. And then when I want my region back, I want those people out. Whoever built on my space. Remember, God doesn't say this when we think about divine energy. Nothing is mine and nothing is yours. It is ours. This ours, this oneness, this sharing. If something extra is built, isn't it nice that someone else is also able to enjoy that land? But I want it. I wasn't doing anything with it, but I really loved looking at it. Someone needs a place to live and they make something. Someone needs a job. And no matter what, people build things here, for example, and then it's legalities that they have to hire. So if some foreigner buys land here and makes a property, they have to hire the locals to work there. And locals are very, very happy to suddenly have a job when they haven't had a job. And after a little while, they're not so happy that, oh, well, the person who owns this is making a lot more than me. So all of that starts in that comparison and then dislike for what used to be liked. And so this idea of aversion or attachment towards something, well, I have an aversion to something new. Someone new is in my space. Something new is built in my space. Some new idea is coming. And I want to think of my idea. So we talked a lot about Hinduism. And we talked about how this is understood through a lot of traditions, this same idea of oneness and be kind to each other and the golden rule, and how we can talk about it. We can learn it right from childhood. We can talk in our community as if it's so very spiritual here. And we can do that in the community of a church. We can do it in a community of a mosque, or we can do it in a community of a country. And when I feel better than another, I am not utilizing the same energy. So in this, it was such, I can't even tell you how wonderful this experience was. And in all of my time in Bali, I have to tell you, this is the first time that I really felt heard, fully, completely, and appreciated and valued for it. And I appreciated and valued those people, these 3 individuals that really sincerely heard me out, who not only listened, but cared to take time to understand and reflect while I sat with them, and reflected back to me what they were understanding. And it's the same. And it was such a beautiful, beautiful moment. And these are the moments that when I communicate with people around here and anywhere I go now, I definitely feel that this is the connection that's most valuable, not only to me, but I feel to the world around us, to ourselves. Yes, it comes through us, this intention, these thoughts, these words, these actions, that purifies our own space, and then it purifies the energies around us if people are ready to receive. Luckily, being around nature, and I was just speaking with someone today about nature in Ontario is fantastic. It's spring right now. Nature everywhere is fantastic. So nature here is fantastic. A lot of times when I speak with people from Canada here, they say, oh, it's so lush there. And I remember the lush of Canada too. And so let's remember this, that energy is everywhere. That's why it's so easy to connect with nature. There's no judgment, there's no comparison, there's just full appreciation of one another when we're consciously able to do that. And today I also wanted to mention that in this Vairagya, and this is this detachment from, when I give something compassionately, kindly, there's nothing attached to it. Now they better remember that. If my mind goes into that, then I want something out of it. I love that moment that we had, and wherever it goes from there is great. And I thought I'd finish with this quote today. And again, to remind us all that in terms of having a pure space, we need to start with ourselves and constantly, every moment, watch, where is this mind going now? Does this mind want something now? Does this mind want appreciation? I know when I was having that conversation, one person finally said, "You're very intelligent." And I didn't go into it, but even intelligence comes and goes. But divine wisdom is something that's with us all the time, and that is the thing to value. So this quotation is by Rajneesh, and this quotation says, "Become alert about desire and non-attachment begins to appear. This is not to be made to happen. It follows naturally from awareness of attachment. Each one of us has to become aware of his attachments and keep being so. Nothing should be done unconsciously. Nothing should be done unconsciously." I am so appreciative for this quote. I'm so appreciative for that experience. I'm so appreciative for this moment of being able to share this with you. I wish you all a fantastic day or night of reflecting on this. And I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day or night, everyone. Bye.